Image Space Incorporated dropped a bombshell on the sim racing world when they announced that rFactor 2 will be taken over by a new studio. Is this enough to bring new life into the struggling sim? Let's take a look. Last week at the Sim Racing Expo, Image Space Incorporated announced that they are entering a technical partnership with Luminous Technologies to bring rFactor 2 to a new studio dubbed Studio 397. This technical partnership is said to bring new financial support to the company, as well as being able to carry on the legacy of rFactor and also bring new elements to the title. The first announcement to come out of this partnership is that there will be official support for virtual reality headsets, as well as the implementation of DirectX 11. These are two highly requested features for the community, and it will be coming in Q1 of 2017. Now, I want to share a couple of my thoughts on what that means for the community starting next year. And first off, it means that we will finally be able to take full advantage of newer graphics cards. One issue with newer graphics cards, say from the GTX 700 series on, is that they were never really intended to take advantage of DirectX 9 titles. So starting with the 7 series, we started seeing a series of technical issues and limited performance out of our cars when it came to ISI-based titles. So now with this new DirectX 11, we should be seeing smoother performance, greater graphic fidelity, as well as a more steady frame rate. So that should be a win-win-win situation on all levels. Now for the virtual reality side of things, we learned that Tim Wheatley of ISI has been a huge proponent of virtual reality ever since he got his hands on a DK2, and now he is finally getting his wish. With the development team now actively supporting DirectX 11, they are now also able to actively support virtual reality SDKs. When Oculus announced that they would not be supporting the DirectX 9 SDK, that meant that for ISI-based titles such as rFactor 2, Race Room Racing Experience, and Automobilista and Game Stock Car, we would not be seeing any official Oculus Rift support. But we are now going to see this shift in the core engine for rFactor 2, which will finally allow us to have the virtual reality support. Now, these two announcements are great news for the sim, but I also wanted to share a couple thoughts I had that could really bring rFactor 2 back into the mainstream market. The first big key to bring more people into rFactor 2 is obviously more cars and tracks. And with this new technical partnership, there should be a greater budget for rFactor 2 to bring in new tracks, new series, and new cars. For example, Tim Wheatley announced in a race department interview that there will be an officially sanctioned series in rFactor 2, which will be a huge draw for people of whatever series that is going to be. I also know that there is going to be an unnamed modern era Formula 1 car coming to the sim, and we still haven't seen it yet, but hopefully with this new team, we will see some expedited development on current cars. Speaking of current cars, where the hell is the Nissan GT-R GT500? I mean, it was announced around 2 years ago, man. It's about time to bring that puppy out. I would say also just as important as the cars are the tracks. We are desperately low on good quality first-party tracks. We are seeing some solid third-party affiliate courses such as Matsusaka, Tiger Moth Aerodrome, and the various oval tracks being brought to the sim, but we are still lacking in the first quality offerings that are intended to set a benchmark to the title. Hopefully, with more money behind the sim, we will be able to see more quality first-party tracks that will set the benchmark for third-party modders and also bring more people in. The other thing I would love to see Studio 397 pull off is expanding the horizons of rFactor 2. We are seeing iRacing starting to experiment into dirt racing with dirt oval racing as well as rallycross. And those were two promises that were given to us way back when rFactor 2 was first announced. However, the only dirt track we really have to show for it is the Lost Valley with what's essentially a quad bike. So we are still left wanting with that title when it comes to dirt racing, and I could see dirt racing and especially rally being quite popular in rFactor 2 if it is brought properly. If you remember, rFactor 1 had rFactor, it had rFactor, it had a large following behind dirt track racing, and I can bet you that a lot of those racers are just itching at the bit for rFactor 2 to add support for dirt racing. I would say that could add an exponential amount of growth to rFactor 2 if it is pulled off properly. And now I want to give a little bit of speculation on what some people are saying might be happening with rFactor 2. And note that these are not confirmed, so take these with a grain of salt. The biggest announcement I have heard speculation about is that there could be an online racing system similar to iRacing or the Sim Racing system, which has gained popularity lately. So, with that being said, I would imagine that this would take a lot of effort and man hours to pull off. However, looking at Luminous's website, they are a data and logistics company. So I could theoretically see them having the horsepower as well as the interest to bring a logistical-based online racing system to rFactor 2. Especially when you consider rFactor 2's online racing is already subscription-based, but it also has the option of lifetime membership. I could see that online subscription being utilized as a springboard into a more advanced and professional racing system, so I might see some validity in what's going on there. Another speculative rumor I have heard comes from the ISI side, and it is that they are actually going to be working on a dedicated IndyCar title. Now, this is meant to be taken with some grains of salt, but if you consider they have had a strong technical partnership with Dallara in development of the DW12, they definitely have a strong relationship with Dallara. Whether that's a relationship with IndyCar as well remains to be seen, but seeing they have Indianapolis licensed and they already have been delving into oval tracks via the third-party affiliate system, I wouldn't say it is such a far stretch to think of ISI working on another licensed title. Now, if you remember, they worked with Formula One in the past with Formula One Challenge, and then they started with rFactor. So they are no strangers to officially licensed titles, but this would be an interesting return to see. A lot of this is just speculation, but what to take out of this is that rFactor 2 has a new developer, and they are going to be accelerating the development of the sim, as well as bringing it to modern specifications with DirectX 11 and virtual reality support. So that is what is confirmed. Then they have been talking about bringing new licenses and new cars and tracks to the sim, as well as bringing long-awaited cars to the title. So, what are your thoughts on this new announcement for rFactor 2? Do you think it's a good thing, Or do you think it might fall flat on its face? Let us know in the comments. Check out simracingpaddock.com so you can stay in the know on the latest going on in sim racing news, and check us out on Facebook and Twitter. Also, subscribe to our channel and you can stay in the know on the latest going on in sim racing. For Sim Racing Paddock, I'm William Marsh, and you have a great rest of your day.